And in other news, with less than 100 days to the Israeli elections, a new poll by Kan News Agency reveals that neither political bloc still has a majority. Meanwhile, the political parties continue to solidify their agendas, merge their parties, and try to win over voters. Joining us now to discuss is member of Knesset for the Religious Zionist Party, Simcha Rotman. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So the new poll sees the Religious Zionist Party with 10 seats. Is this a win for you?
10 seats is better. It's actually a big leap. It's 40% more than what we have now. And then I think the numbers might even grow more, and we definitely hope so. But polls, as polls, we don't take polls as a granted success. We need to work hard, and it's more important, and it's most important, that the Religious Zionist Party will be big, but also that the bloc of the right will be over 61, so we can have a right-wing government, Be'ezrat Hashem, after the elections. We saw what happened in the past year, and actually in the past 2 years, when we didn't get 61 for the bloc, so there were two governments that were unstable by definition. They had co-prime ministers. We saw instability. It did not promote the state of Israel. It did not promote the state of Israel foreign affairs. It did not promote Israeli economy. We need to have a stable government, and a stable government is 61 seats for the right, not something in between in some hybrid and chimeras of political governments.
And yet the polls showing that no side has a majority of 61 seats. I mean, right now the Likud with around 35 seats, and now looking to bring in as many votes from the right wing. I mean, are you at all concerned about this?
So, of course, the major issue is to get everyone out to vote. A lot of people that, if they will come to vote, they will vote for a right-wing party, for us, for the Likud, for other parties in the bloc, need to come out and vote. And that's the turnout will define who will win this election. It's not about, I think anyone who sees the polls, they say, okay, maybe Netanyahu will have 61 for his government, maybe not. But the other side does not have 61, doesn't matter what. It needs to build a coalition with the terror-supporting parties of both Ram and the Joint Arab List. So, and that's why this the choice is quite clear. Either we have a stable right-wing government, or we have a government that is unstable almost by definition and has a support of the terror-supporting parties, the Joint Arab List and Ram. And we saw in the past year that cannot work. That cannot bring Israel what it needs.
And yet we've heard a lot of talk this election cycle to form a government, without the extremes. And many viewing Ben Gvir and others in your camp as the extreme right. I mean, do you fear that you may be left out of a more centrist unity government if one were to emerge?
I think that centrist government is not a good government for the state of Israel. Before I start analyzing, is it good for us? Is it good for this party or that party? It's not good for the state of Israel. What we saw in a centrist government, which we had a centrist government before the last one. Netanyahu and Gantz formed a government. They left Yamina, which then included Bennett, Shaked, and Smotrich, my party leader. I wasn't in the Knesset then. It left it out from one side. It left the extreme left, Meretz, and other parties, and of course the terror-supporting parties outside from the other side. It was founded on 74, 75 Knesset members. It was a centrist government, and it failed miserably. It failed miserably because you cannot have a coalition without a unifying idea. You cannot have a coalition when each and everyone pulls to his own side. An Israeli center today is actually a name for the left. You're either right or you're center. There is no left in Israel. Who is in the extreme left in Israel? Everyone talks about the edges. Who is in the edges? How come Meretz becomes a normal party to consider for a government? when they are extreme, some of them even anti-Zionist, some of them Knesset members who couldn't vote for any law regarding the army. How come they become centrist? So center in Israel, it's a nice term for the left. And either you take the right-wing ideology and you build a coalition around it, and you care about the land of Israel, and you care about the Jewish identity in Israel, or you build a government that the failure is written all over it.
All right. Well, with less than 100 days to the next election, we'll keep following closely. Member of Knesset Simcha Rotman, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, it's Emmanuel Kadosh. I wanted to invite you all to subscribe to ILTV Plus, where you can find our daily news and updates about Israel. And not only that, but live feeds, entertainment, our kosher food show, and so much more. Needless to say, your subscription to ILTV Plus helps us grow and create more content while also supporting the state of Israel. Our app is available on all platforms and devices, so I'll see you guys there.